Okay, so we're live. We're live. Welcome to Facebook Live.
Yeah, welcome.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Josh.
And we have been told to say, if you share this on the Facebook,
Yeah, the PureGym Facebook.
The PureGym Facebook page, you're going to be in with a chance of winning one of 3 free memberships. So definitely worth sharing. So first questions we've got. Oh, and by the way, if you guys have any questions, just ask away and we'll try and keep up with them. We're actually on 3 cameras here, so you know.
Yeah, we'll try and see who everyone's reading.
We'll see who gets the best questions. Okay. Well, the first one we had was, well, there's quite a lot.
Many.
So, can I build muscle and lose fat at the same time?
It's a yes and no. Normally we'd say pick one, then go for it. So if you're looking to lose a bit of weight, then look to be more in a calorie deficit. Then obviously if you're looking to gain that lean muscle, be in that surplus. But look to hammer your nutrition first, then start to progress through your training, I'd probably say.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like I call it like the perfect dream situation where you're losing body fat but building muscle at the same time. It's kind of what everyone's aiming for, but it's much harder than what we would say. I think you will have heard as well, like a lot of PTs or people generally say, you know, oh, if you're not losing weight, don't worry because you're probably just building muscle. Well, actually, it's a lot harder to build muscle than what we might think it is. And there are certain situations when you can build muscle and lose body fat, but these tend to be very short-lived. So, for example, when you first start training, your muscles are very sensitive, which means they build quicker, so it's a new stimulus to them. And also you have a lot of body fat to lose, which makes it quite easy to lose that body fat. So during this, what I term honeymoon period, you can actually build muscle and lose fat at the same time. But that period, as you lose fat and become more habituated, more used to training, it's much harder to keep progressing in that way. So once you've sort of got your quote unquote newbie gains, this period where you can do both at the same time, then you are, like Josh was saying, going to want to stick to one goal. So you're really going to want to focus on either building muscle or losing fat, because muscle takes energy to build. You need to train hard to do that. You need to fuel your workouts well, and it's very hard to do that while you're trying to lose body fat as well. And you spoke about being in a surplus to build and a deficit to obviously reduce body fat. So we've got some more questions. Any tips to avoid reducing DOMs? Something about a pump class.
Ooh, DOMs. Normally what I say is a lot of it comes down to nutrition afterwards, and a lot of it is that stretching before and afterwards. Just make sure you're doing plenty of stretching. If you've used foam rollers before, I normally get a lot of my clients trying out a little bit of foam rollers, but mostly a huge amount of stretching. Nothing a long hot bath can't help with as well. So I'd agree. I mean, a lot of people are put off by DOMs, or if people don't know what that means, it's delayed onset muscle soreness. Basically being sore after a workout. This tends to happen mostly when either you are new to the exercise, so say it's a new exercise you've not done for a while, or if there's a big eccentric component, so that's sort of the lowering phase of the weight. So what I would say is, don't be put off if you're first starting exercise and you feel really sore the next day. Like, it's not always going to be like that. Trust me, the next week when you get around to do it, you won't be as sore, and the week after that you won't be as sore. So DOMS is often caused by new exercises, so ones that you're not used to. So yeah, I guess don't be put off by this soreness. It won't always happen like that. Especially if you're like your first timers. If it's your first time in the gym and you get DOMs, don't worry about it. Everyone gets it. So honestly, don't worry about it. Don't stress about it. Don't start panicking. You know, next session, the more frequency and consistency you get within your training, the less DOMs you may start getting. But then you might want to then start switching up your training regime. So
yeah, and I guess on the flip side of that, a lot of people sort of how do I say, they judge how good their workout was by how sore they are after, and that's the poor method of doing it as well. So if I wanted to get a client really sore, there's loads of exercises that I could do that.
Yeah.
It's possibly not the best way to do it. It's not a good indicator of how good your workout was. It's more likely that we've given you different exercises or ones that really focus on the lowering phase of the weight. So again, as you become more used to that exercise, it's probably going to be less sore after. That doesn't mean you haven't worked hard. It's just you've become more used to the exercise. So back to your original question, which was how to reduce DOMs. I'd say definitely a good warm down, and then know that it's probably inevitable when you're trying a new exercise or you're starting a new class. You mentioned body pump, maybe you've not been for a while or you've not been before. Just keep at it and keep going. We have loads of questions.
We've got a question here. What's the best way for people with eating disorders to build weight? That one's on Facebook.
To build weight?
Yeah.
Well, I would say, first of all, definitely if you've got an eating disorder, go and see a specialist, because that's really beyond the scope for personal trainers.
Yeah.
We're not qualified to work with. It's more of a psychological disorder.
Yeah.
If you need or want to gain weight, simply eating more, which doesn't really help, because it's a very that is what you need to do, but obviously there's a reason you're not doing that, and that's more psychological, and I would suggest going to see someone to speak about that. That would be my...
No, yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, they're very specialised in those areas, so that's where you're going to get the best advice from. Yeah, definitely go see like a doctor or GP first. Just go speak to them first, and then when you've got an answer from them of a direction to go down, then you can start looking to implement different things throughout your lifestyle and throughout your nutrition and training.
Yeah, and I think it's important as well that's a good point to bring up, that for trainers, know when to refer out, and it's okay to say, I'm not a specialist in this area, I think actually so-and-so is better for you. And not even just with eating disorders, it could be anything. It could even be someone coming to you saying, I really want to get good at CrossFit. Well, I'm not a specialist in CrossFit, so actually I know that X trainer is much more interested in that and trains in that certain way. So it's okay to refer out if that's not your specialist area. And I guess especially true if you don't feel confident in that. So say you've got someone who has a certain injury or an eating disorder or type 2 diabetes or an area that you're not maybe completely clued up in, it's best to refer out. No, and there's no shame in that, definitely not.
No, we're all here to help each other out at the end of the day. So
exactly.
Yeah. There was one on there.
Can you both give us a big smile?
Okay, so can you take high calorie shakes and stuff?
Well,
if you want to take supplements, again, that's your choice. Normally, what I would personally say is look at your nutrition. Find out how many calories you're supposed to be having a day, and then obviously if you're looking to gain that extra weight or build that muscle, look to put yourself in that surplus first. So your nutrition is the fundamentals, is your building blocks of your results basically. The supplementation should only be added in. I'd probably more like to say as a last resort. I wouldn't always sort of recommend it. It's not what I would recommend my clients. I'd normally say, look at your nutrition first. How's that going along? Good, bad, how are you feeling with them? And then you can then start, if you want to, adding those protein shakes. But for me, it's just down to your decision. I wouldn't normally recommend them though.
Yeah, I mean, as the name suggests, supplement your diet. So they shouldn't be the foundation of your diet. Certain examples where, they're very useful in terms of if you're on the go, they can be quite handy. If you're really struggling to hit your protein intake, adding a shake into your diet can be an easy way to get in some extra protein, fairly cost effective as well. What else is good about shakes? I guess especially if you're trying to increase your weight, it's an easy way to get in calories, especially if you're having the and stuff like sugar shakes, like the sort of mass gainer shakes that have a lot of carbohydrates in as well. It's an easy way to increase your calorie intake.
I mean, shakes they're easy, they're convenient. You can get one in the local PureGyms, or you can buy them out in the shops. they're very easy, they're very convenient, but again, I would always say just hammer out your nutrition first. That's the key part of it, and then your supplements, just supplement your nutrition regime that you're doing, 100%.
This one, how do I get a small waist but keep my lower body bigger? It's a popular topic.
How do I get a small waist but keep my lower body bigger?
Okay.
Don't go out and buy waist trainers. That's the biggest thing. Do not go out and buy waist trainers, please. Again, nutrition is key. But if these are little certain areas that you might want to target a little bit more, if it's your waist, then maybe add a little bit more core into your workouts. Is probably what I'd say. You don't need to hammer out cardio all the time or this or that. Nutrition will play the biggest part in that. And then when you want to start hitting your waist, then do side planks. Come out with a nice little ab routine. Hammer that out. See how you felt afterwards. And then with your lower body, I'd probably say if you're looking at getting it bigger, put your compound movements in there, your squats. If you're looking at getting that bigger bum, then start doing a little bit maybe more glute activation work, lunges, that type of thing to begin with.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, annoyingly, the truth is a lot of it is down to genetics and the way that your body is going to be built. So you see some girls, often Latinos maybe, like have amazing bums. Some bikini girls, you're looking at, like, they're the top of their bikini class because they're genetically built that way. And yeah, I'm not saying they don't train hard, they definitely do, but to some extent it does come down to genetics. So some people can have a very small waist and then a brilliant bum. Other people are really going to struggle to build that. Doesn't mean you can't. There's a lot you can do with what you have, and by no means that many of us do never reach our potential, and our genetic potential of what that could be. So it's not an excuse, but you will see that some people, maybe have never lifted a weight in their life, but yet have this amazing shape that you're looking to emulate. So some of that is down to genetics, but it can definitely be worked on by doing your compound lower body movements, focusing on them, and then getting your diet on point to keep that nice slim waist.
Cool. Resistance bands, any good?
Love them.
Yeah, I either use them with all my clients, or I get them to buy their own resistance bands and start implementing them into their own training, whether that's on their own, at home, in a park, anywhere. You can even take one on holiday. They're such a great tool to use, because your muscle is constantly engaged throughout the full range of motion, and it just gives that extra feel. You can mix it up. You can do loads of different stuff with resistance bands. Like for example, I get a lot of my clients doing assisted pull-ups with them. So depending on the size of the band and how strong it's going to be, I like using them for assisted pull-ups. So that when they come down to gym on their own, they're going to start having that confidence using those bands, and then they can start progressing through from the bands. And then you can go into body weight. Yeah,
I mean, they're absolutely brilliant to take on holiday. They take up basically no room in your in your suitcase, so you can use that for home workouts. Something that's often hard, I don't know if you found with home workouts, is you barely ever get a pulling motion. So it's loads of push-ups, sit-ups, squats, whatever, but you never really work your posterior chain by pulling. So having bands is really good for that. I like to superset everything, so kind of if you take a band around the gym with you, that means if you're doing, bench press, you can superset it with pull-aparts. Or whatever you're doing, sort of opposite movements. Again, it keeps that tension on the muscle. And they're cheap, they're versatile, you can get pretty creative with them.
Yeah, especially if you don't have a lot of time in the gym. You're going down at peak time and you can only grab that bench. You can't grab anything else, everything's rammed. Then use the resistance bands, mix it up. Do those band pull-aparts, all that sort of stuff. So don't think because you bring in a resistance band, you can't do loads of other exercise, or gym's full, you can't do superset based workouts. You can do, and they're a great tool that you can implement in your training. What else we got?
We've got a really nice message from someone. If you guys want to get bigger, don't take advice from someone who's 8 stone wet through. Thanks. Okay, lovely input. I don't understand what superset is. Can you explain? So superset is basically doing 2 exercises back to back. So it's kind of a way, well, yeah, to do 2 exercises back to back. But I like it because it gets you through your session faster. You often find that you're sitting around waiting between sets. I like to keep moving in the gym. It does depend what you're training for. If you're really looking at improving your strength, you might want to use your recovery periods between sets to recover. I prefer to use them to often work the opposite body part. Don't know if you use supersets much or you said...
Yeah. No, I implement supersets in my own training and again with clients. It's a great training method to use for most goals that are out there. Obviously, if you're just looking at getting strong, you may just want to just hammer out just your 3 compound movements. But yeah, supersets back to back, you get it done. You can still go most ranges with them as well. I like, if I'm going to superset the exercise, I like going anywhere between like a 10 to 15 sort of a rep range. Again, I don't like having too much rest, so I'd say 60 sort of seconds as a very max, and then hitting that second session again. Then
she's the first winner of the membership.
Oh, someone's won a membership! Yay! Sorry, we were being shown something behind the screen. I was like, I don't know. So, Victoria Hayfron, you have won 1 month's free membership.
2 months ago.
Woohoo! 2 more to go. Okay, so questions.
What we got?
Opinion on salad and protein diet for weight loss, but also to maintain muscle.
Salad and protein.
I'm not sure I've heard of that specific diet, but I do love a salad and having protein is good. Again, it is going to come back to the context of your full diet. You can't just live off salad and protein. Weight loss is going to come down to your total expenditure and your total intake and balancing that. And yes, you are right to point out that protein is really important in that. So we always recommend at Pure Lifestyle building each meal around protein intake and then being accountable to your calorie intake as well. So I'm sure, well, hopefully you will have set out your goal, what your intake needs to be to reach that goal, and then how you're going to structure your meals to fit that goal as well. So I wouldn't just stick to salad and protein, but definitely including that in your diet is good. Do you tend to use BCAAs and creatine to build/maintain muscle, or is protein in your diet good enough? Well, you've answered that yourself. Protein in your diet is definitely good enough. The research around branched-chain amino acids, which for those of you who don't know are some of the building blocks of protein, is that if you take that on its own, it's not half as good as taking the full protein. So you're much better to have, say, a whey protein shake than just to be sipping on branched-chain amino acids. So yeah, who was that? Tara, you've already answered that question, so brilliant. Thanks for that. Question to Josh.
Go on.
If I lift, will I look like a man?
100% not.
Well, unless that is a man.
No. So Zucchima_fit, that's one of our PureGym insiders. So for those who don't know her, go over, give her a quick follow. No, lifting, weight training will not make you look like a man. You want to have that good complex of both that cardio and training, in my opinion. Again, depending on what you're trying to do, if you want to go if you just want to put on that good size of muscle, then again, hammer out your compound movements. If you're just looking at getting that beach body, 100% add resistance training into your regime. It's a great way of building that lean muscle, as well as obviously if your nutrition's on point, you'll start reducing that body fat as well. So no, lifting weights will not make you look like a man. Don't worry.
It's not easy for girls to build muscle. It certainly won't happen by accident, is what I'm trying to get at. So you won't just wake up having been to the gym a few times and have an extortionate amount of muscle. Yes, it's definitely not something to worry about. I've tried. Yeah, it's really hard for women, especially to build muscle. What else do we have?
Anything off the board, guys?
Tips for shredding body fat?
Tips for shredding body fat. Again, nutrition, I would look to make sure you're in a calorie deficit first. Then that way you're going to lose weight. Now, what weight is more body fat is down then to you and your training. So what was that question again? How do...
Tips for shredding
Tips for
belly
shredding,
fat.
that was it. So yeah, nutrition, be in that calorie deficit. And then if you're looking at more, reduce it around your belly, then again, core workouts are a great way. Getting, again, your abs like any other muscle, if you add a bit more frequency and consistency within it, it will start getting those faster results around more of that midsection. So yeah, nutrition one, and then hammer out that training.
Yeah, would definitely agree with that. It is, people tend to think that you can like spot reduce fat. So when you say, oh, I want to lose belly fat or I want to get a six pack, it normally comes down to the diet aspect of that, but also just doing sit-ups isn't necessarily going to give you a six pack. It's really your body fat percentage which is going to show your abs.
Men in the kitchen.
Well, apparently that's what I've been told. But yeah, I think focusing your gym workouts on building muscle and then focusing your activity levels and your diet outside of the gym on losing body fat, that's what's going to get you the best body composition results.
Yes.
We've got one here. What does PureGym do to help make it easier for those that have anxiety about the gym?
With PureGym, everybody's welcome. We have expert PTs in the gym that are on hand 24/7. Even to those Pure Gyms that aren't 24/7, there's always a member of staff, there's always a PT that is there to help. Now, we never force anyone to book an induction, so don't feel like you have to do an induction when you get down there. There's always a member of staff who's on shift ready to help you out. If you see anyone in a green top, we're there to assist you no matter what your goal is, what you're trying to achieve. We want to give you that best start along your fitness journey or whatever journey that you're currently on. You know, you've signed up to us for a reason, so come speak to us. Let's help you get to where you want to be. And if you've got anxiety and you're not, comfortable, then by all means just drop the gym management an email, and then we can always arrange to meet up with you in the gym, and then we can then discuss it more on a one-to-one basis if that's the sort of route that you'd prefer going down. But our personal trainers are all experts, and you can ask them anything you like at any time. So don't be shy. We're here to help you.
Yeah, I think that is one thing that once you do interact with one of the trainers or even just someone else that works in the gym, you become a bit, they're always more than happy to help, I guess is what I'm saying. Like, even if they look like they may be busy, if you go up to them and just approach them, any questions you have, if you're worried you're not doing an exercise correctly, people are more than happy to help. And what could be useful as well is, even if it's just for a short period of time, maybe booking 1 or 2 sessions in with a trainer and just saying, okay, be honest with them, I maybe don't want to do personal training long term, but I'm a bit anxious about starting in the gym. Could you give me a couple of sessions just to make me feel at ease in the gym? Can you show me how to use these specific machines? And maybe you're a bit scared to go in the free weights area, so again, asking someone, you don't even have to book in a session, you could just say, hey, these are just on shift tops, aren't they? So, hey, I've not been to the free weights area before, I'm a little bit intimidated, could you show me around, could you show me a few things? Yeah,
easy, yeah. It's never a problem. A lot of people who come to my gym in particular, they like speaking to a lot of PTs after they've done a class, which is a great way of just getting that first interaction with a PT. It's always that first step that's the hardest part.
Yeah, and Kara's just made a brilliant point on the Facebook feed that everyone's in the same boat, no one's judging you, everyone's there to better themselves or to do some exercise or to relieve some stress, you know, everyone's there for a reason, and yeah, like, don't be afraid.
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're here to help you. That's our main focus. So if you're not happy, if you're unsure, the best thing to do is just to speak to a member of staff at any time that you've entered the gym. Okay. Cool. Let's have a look. What should I eat before a workout and after? Normally, if eating beforehand, normally I would, if I was going to eat, I've been doing, I'm not the biggest CrossFit person. I've started adding a bit more. I know cardio with me, it never happens. The only cardio I do is in my classes, so if I'm going to have a meal, I normally have it a good hour and a half before I'm probably most likely going to train. So if I do something like a CrossFit style circuit, I did Murph the other day, I was absolutely dead. Honest to God, I didn't think I was going to. It was a mile run, straight into 100 pull-ups, into 200 press-ups, into 300 squats, and then back to a mile run. And I get shin splints running from here about 20 yards away. So yeah, it's fair, you know, it's safe to say that I was.
All right, stop showing off. Back to the question.
Back to
the question was, what should you eat before a workout? And then I did this, 200 pull-ups, what? 100 squats.
Just saying.
I think it does, again, like I do like to always, it depends, but it does depend. You know, some people can eat a banana like on the way to the gym and train straight away. Other people are like, oh no, I need to leave it a couple of hours before I've been. Some people get up and train fasted and they're absolutely fine on that. Other people need to have breakfast before they train. Find what works for you. With the whole fasted training thing, there's no real benefit to that in terms of fat burning. You will technically burn more fat during that session, but in terms of the body fat that you lose over the course of the day or the week, that depends on your calorie balance at the end of the week or the day. So I wouldn't be too worried about what you eat before and after a workout in terms of fat burning, but in terms of your energy levels, how you feel during the workout and what your preferences are, that they would be my main concerns for that.
What we got?
Some of them I'm probably not going to say.
Let's have a look what else we got up here. How much? Oh, okay.
How do you deal with shin splints? That's a good one for you.
Shin splints. Don't run. No, I'm joking. With shin splints, it depends on. If you're getting shin splints, you're more probably running on your toes quite a lot, or you may be a bit more flat-footed, maybe in my opinion. Normally, a lot of it will just come down to, I'd say, stretching, flexibility, mobility, that type of thing. Make sure you're running on a heel-to-toe motion, or look at maybe the shoes that you might have. You're running with very minimum cushioning on your shoes. I'd probably most likely say that. I mean, I'm not the biggest runner. So if I was going to get shin splints, if I'm on my toes quite a lot, that's how I probably most likely get them. But yeah, I'd probably say stretching, flexibility, mobility, all that type of thing. After mostly, and then obviously like the next day for your recovery. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I'm not the biggest one on that one.
I've not, thank the Lord, experienced shin splints, but I think definitely like stretching out your. Sorry, my dad's calling me. Stretching out your calves and also running on surfaces which aren't so hard. So if you're often running on the pavement, you might want to try a route that's maybe got a bit more grass on it, that's not as solid. But again, you're probably going to need to see a physio and get that worked on and maybe get the tightness in your calves rubbed out, because what shin splints tends to be, and I'm no expert in this, but what I've heard it tends to be is the muscle is pulling on the bone a bit, which means you've probably got very tight muscles there. So that's something you'd probably want to get checked out.
The muffin top one, is lower back fat from eating too much sugar Is that a myth?
That I've never heard that myth.
I've not.
You've just made this up.
I'm telling you, I've heard this. Someone's asked me this before.
But
Muffin
anyway,
top.
muffin tops are not from eating sugar. They're just purely from a calorie surplus. Where you store fat has really nothing to do with exactly what you're eating. It's more the quantity or the excess quantity of calories you're taking in. And again, where you store that fat it depends quite largely on your genetics, so some things you can't really change. Also, if you're male or female, so men tend to store fat more in the sort of apple shape. Women tend to be more pears, so more lower body, which is actually good for our cardiovascular disease risks. So although some of you might not like it's good that women store fat more peripherally, and that's one of the reasons why men are more likely to get cardiovascular disease. Not actually the question you asked, but there's a little insert extra. What's your favourite exercise?
Ooh. My favourite exercise. Can't go wrong with a cheeky bicep curl. Everyone loves a cheeky bicep curl. Curls for the girls.
Alright, bro. Tries for the guys. Oh!
I don't know. With me, I like doing a complex. So I love using kettlebells. So I love going from, a clean to a front squat to a thruster.
Right, so I don't really think that's one exercise, Josh.
It's one movement. All right.
Right. Okay.
I would say thrusters. There you go. For me, I like a thruster.
I mean, I'm probably going to have to say burpees, but nah. I like a pull-up. Yeah. Anyway, best exercise for lower abs? I'd say leg raises.
Yeah, I'd leg raises on the floor, hanging leg raises, add a little bit of extra weight if you want to. Yeah, leg raises, 100% on that one.
Someone keeps asking, what is the best cardio for plantar fasciitis? And the reason I'm not answering this is because I'm no expert in that area and I quite honestly wouldn't know.
No.
Do you?
I haven't got a clue.
Again, it's probably going to be quite individual. You might want to speak to your physio if it's a problem you often have, and it could be. Some people find that cross trainer's a good one. Some people find that they can still run. Some people find they might want to do more upper body stuff like ski erg. Yeah. It really is going to depend on your symptoms and what affects those symptoms. So it might be that swimming would be better suited to you, or something that's less low impact. Sorry, Neil. There's so many questions coming through that we can answer straight away. Best way to develop abs. Oh, we've kind of touched on that.
Downstairs water fountain. Yes, although there will be a water fountain in the near future. Don't you worry, at Leeds City Centre North. At the moment, there isn't, I'm afraid. Sorry, bud.
Well, there's a reason behind that, and that is because you get more steps if you have to walk up the stairs to get the water, and that just really helps your step count for the day. I'm pretty sure that was behind the design.
100%. That's why we did it. And it tells you how many steps you're counting as you go up and down as well. I think it's about 33 steps down, 33 steps up. So a
brilliant little crossover here. Someone on Instagram has kindly given us a bit of an answer to the plantar fasciitis question. She says that there's really good, nice guidelines. So if you just Google that, and they offer some good low impact. So things like bike and cross trainer, kind of stuff we've already touched on. But yeah, it's just going to be finding what works for you, and possibly lower impact would be good. Oh!
We have another winner.
Emily's just told us we've got another winner. Do you want to announce the winner?
So the second winner of a 3 months membership goes to Mike Jacobs. So thank you very much, Mike. You are second winner today, mate. Thank you. Cool.
What else do we
have? I finished work. Okay, so you finish work quite late and you go to gym straight after. There won't be any instructors.
To help give advice, what do? I got fed up doing the same thing.
if they'll always, the gyms are always manned 24/7 for health and safety reasons. We do have cleaners in our gym now. Their only endeavour is to clean the gym, so asking them is not going to be too much help. So if you go to, I know the gym managers aren't going to like this, but if you're in the gym and you go to the gym, the PC profile pages up on the wall, you'll see the gym manager and assistant gym manager numbers up on there. So if you, I know,
just call them late at night.
Yeah, just call us. I was going to say.
Especially Susan at Dundee. She loves when you call her late at night when she's off shift. Loves it.
That same goes for Brian Mundy. All right, make sure you come in. In fact, I'm tempted just to give the number out.
In fact, we'll give you Josh's number because he's always available. You'll travel.
So, yeah,
what gym are you at?
I'll come down up the country. I'll fly there if need be. No, honestly, seriously, just the contact details are up on the wall. So just ping us an email or a message, and then we'll try and get back to you as soon as we can with that. Okay.
Brilliant. Free weights or machines?
I like the combination of both. I wouldn't always just choose one or over the other.
Quite a false dichotomy. Do you like that one?
I've not even heard it said like that.
Yeah, well,
No?
it's kind of just it's one thing or the other. And I guess it's a question you get it all the time in fitness. It's like, is it low carb or low fat? Like, it doesn't have to be one or the other. Should I do cardio or weights? Obviously, you should do both. And yeah, I guess that people often put things against each other, which, a combination of free weights and machine weights is probably going to give you the best results.
Yep, 100%. What we got.
Training with an injury, advised or not? Banged up badly, doing a tough mudder. Oof.
Yeah, tough mudder.
Don't want to lose momentum.
It depends on the injury, I'd probably say. Is it how bad is it? Is it something where, is it, for example, like an ankle, you got a swollen ankle, you can't walk? Maybe focus a bit more on upper body or core. Go along that route. That way you're still training. You're not going to lose interest or momentum with your training. But yeah, I'd probably most likely comes down to your injury, how bad it is. Have you gotten professional advice first, just in case? But yeah, you've got other body parts that you can still train.
Bruised ribs. That is a tough one because it's going to depend on how sore you are. You obviously don't want to make it worse. I'd probably just go based on how sore you are and maybe work around it. So you might not be able to do your usual workouts, but you might be able to get a little bit of cardio in, or maybe use some machines so that you're isolating muscles as opposed to using full body.
Yeah.
It's less of a question but a really good comment. Questions coming in are mainly about fat loss. I believe people need to move more often, be in a calorie deficit, and have fun and be consistent. I couldn't agree more. I think that's brilliant advice. Also, someone said, why can't all the trainers be as good looking as Josh?
No, I'm not that good looking, honestly. It's just cameras. It's maybe just filters. I don't know what Instagram, how they do it. How long does it take to see results? How long is a piece of string? Normally what we say is, I probably say 3 months is a good sort of maybe a platform to start seeing results from. That 90-day period. But again, what are you doing within those 90 days? You've got to be accountable for your results. Basically, is probably what I'd most likely do. I'd say like a 3 month sort of period, possibly.
It depends on the results you're looking at. Like, you can start losing weight, especially if you have a lot of weight or a lot of body fat to lose. You can start losing weight and see results in a week. If you want longer term results, and again, it really depends on your starting point. If you're already quite lean, it's going to take you longer to see those results. If you've got a lot to lose, you can see results very quickly. And again, it's all about consistency and can you get fit regardless of what you eat? I'm one of those rare humans who doesn't eat veg, or water. Whoa, no, that could be a problem. Yes and no. I mean, it's obviously better to include veg in your diet. You're probably going to be healthier if you include some vegetables in your diet, if you drink some water.
You get more nutrients from it.
Yeah. But exercise will benefit you either way. One of the things that is so brilliant about exercise, and one of the things that I think needs to be nailed home a lot more, is that even if you don't lose any weight, exercise benefits your health. So even if you start the Pure Lifestyle course and actually you end up exercising more, but you have minimal or no weight loss, you will still be much more healthy if you've come from a sedentary position, even if you don't lose weight. So weight loss shouldn't be the only goal. It's just quite an easy goal to track, which I think is why so many people are attracted to it, because you see the numbers coming down. Measuring health is, how do you measure that? It's quite hard to, and it's much more subjective. There's no sort of objective measure of, well, there are a few, but not that we use.
No.
So yeah. Someone's just question.
What's the long end?
Well, it's not really a question, so we could maybe just leave that one. It's more of a giving some strange advice.
Should we go from the wall? Best glute exercises. Squats. Normally what I say is, it depends again what you're looking to do with your glute. Are you looking at just building that size? Yes, squats, big compound movements. You've got glute kickbacks, you've got lunges, you've got stiff leg deadlifts. There's loads of glute exercises that you probably say. My probably top three would probably be squats, RDLs and lunges.
Yeah, I love a lunge, definitely. What about glute bridges?
Yeah, glute bridges. I depending on if you've done them not before, I'd probably master the movement first. Start with both legs on the floor, driving through your heels, squeezing your glutes as you're driving up. So try not to push up with your lower back. And then if you're starting to feel that contraction, you're getting that mind-bum connection fired up.
That well-known mind-bum connection. Yeah.
Mind muscle, but if more glutes, mind bum connection fired up, then you can then start going single leg sort of stuff, add a BOSU maybe, or then you can start going with barbells and so on and so forth.
Sorry, we've got a good one here. Fat burners. Does it help you get leaner and more dry to drop body fat levels?
Theoretic. Fat burners. Again, these are supplements. Mm-hmm. So you only supplement them into your nutrition plan. Firstly, being that calorie deficit. So you're going to start reducing your weight again, depending on what it is. If you want to make it more fat, then start hitting those weights as well as that cardio. But fat burners, I don't see a need to take them.
No, I mean, if you're adding fat burners to a poor diet or to a diet that's not supporting your goals anyway, there's going to be no benefit. The key or the active ingredient in most fat burners is just caffeine, which can aid fat loss in two ways. One, it's a slight thermogenic effect, so it can slightly increase the calories you burn, but we're talking very small amount of calories here. And number two, it can be a bit of an appetite suppressant, so some people find that when they consume caffeine, they have a reduced appetite. And number three, which I didn't mention, but it is going to give you a bit more energy. So if you find that you're tired and it helps you train harder, maybe that could also burn more calories. But these are very small effects, so you can add it into your structured diet as you were saying, a supplement. It's not going to help if you're not already ticking the boxes of being in a calorie deficit, being active, training hard, and you've not sort of supported your diet in that sense already.
Look, where can I find good free workouts? We normally, if you can speak to a PT in the gym, they can always, like, sometimes most likely give you a few points on a few good exercises. But as far as free workouts, PureGym do the
We're just getting mouthed.
I believe PureGym online. If you go online to PureGym, they do go to the free workout section, and then there's loads of free different workouts. So you've got the 5 for 5s on there. So by all means, look at them as you're maybe warming up on a treadmill or warming up on the way to the gym if you're working, if you're walking, or just generally out there on the internet. You know, there's
also
thousands.
if you're on the Pure Lifestyle course, we put up loads of workouts in the Pure Lifestyle group on Facebook. So if you're not in that, join that.
Yeah.
But yeah, loads of good workouts available at the PureGym site.
Loads. Okay.
You can say it's not ready.
Yeah, we answered that. Oh, there's a few here. I have joined PureGym. I'm doing set days, for example, back and biceps, chest and triceps. Today is legs and abs. Do you think this is a good idea? Yeah, you can split up your workouts how you like. I normally dictate that on how many sessions you want to do a week. So if you were doing, say, 2 sessions a week, I'd do 2 full body workouts a week. If you were doing 3, you might split up into a sort of push session, pull session, and then a leg session. If you're the kind of person that wants to train 6 days a week, you might split it up into a sort of typical bodybuilder approach of splitting up your body parts. But really, you want to hit those body parts quite frequently and stimulate those muscles quite frequently. So the less times you're going to the gym, the more sort of full body exercises you want to get in each session.
Yeah, massively comes down to your lifestyle. If you can't get to gym that often, then yeah, like Emma said, you're going to start adding or doing more muscle groups within per workout that you do over the week. So yeah, if you can only come in, you know, once a week, it's most likely going to be a full body workout. But then you might do like a little bit extra at home. So yeah, massively down to your lifestyle. Let's have a look.
We've got one here about macros. What are macros and how should you split them?
So what are macros? Macros stands for macronutrients, and they are protein, carbohydrates and fat. And how you want to split these up is, in my opinion, largely down to choice. So the one that I would focus on most is getting your protein in. And then with your carbohydrates and fat, you want those to fit your calorie goal. So some days, I'm quite flexible with my approach. Some days you might have higher carbohydrates, some days you might have higher fats. What I wouldn't do is go to the extreme of either. So a very low carbohydrate diet or a very high fat diet. But yeah, you might have days which are higher or lower in both, as long as you're sticking to your calorie target and building each meal around protein. And I would normally set a protein target for people as well. But again, it's quite individual, so it's hard to give generic advice on this. But building each meal around a protein source, trying to get in at least 25 grams of protein at each meal, and then the rest of your calories coming from a mixture of carbohydrates and fats.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Can I occasionally eat sweets? What is the best time, if so, before or after a workout?
If you want a sweet, have a sweet. There's nothing wrong with having a sweet. Again, it's all within moderation. If you're having a sweet, it's not going to do really probably anything for you. In my opinion, I'd say have them when you want, just within moderation, and don't go crazy with it. You don't really need, at the end of the day, do you need that sweet? Ask yourself. But yeah, maybe if you want to have a little bit of sweets, like I know people sometimes have Haribos, which is crazy, but have Haribos during a session to get that little bit of extra sugar during a session. But
yeah, I mean, it's probably not necessary unless you're doing a quite long endurance type session where you need those extra carbohydrate stores. In terms of just enjoying your diet and enjoying eating food, yes, if you want to have a sweet or a treat or whatever, sort of, you know, if it's ice cream, whatever it is, like still including some of these things in your diet is definitely recommended, more just for long-term adherence as well.
yeah.
Okay, last question.
Oh, last question.
We've got one
Oh.
more winner as well.
And we've got one more winner.
Yeah.
Oh.
Start sharing quick if you want to win that 3 months membership. Quick. Let's have a look.
8 minutes until 2:30 and then we're in.
Okay. Let's just have a little scroll through and find the best question.
Quick, send some questions in rapid.
joining it saying, I'm very impressed that PureGym have got someone of the
Johnny.
future of ESG on their
Stop,
line.
Johnny.
It's very good to see a chain of gyms connecting the industry with influencers.
Oh, well, that's Emily for you. Well done, PureGym. Oh no, okay. A lot of these are sort of injury questions, which are good, but I'm not going to lie, I'm not an injury specialist, and what most of my advice is going to be, how bad is it, what's the pain like, go see a physio, get a recommendation and stick to that. Need motivation, can you help? This is a good one.
Where is it you're lacking in your motivation? Is it getting to the gym? Is it at the gym? Normally, if you're lacking a bit of motivation, sometimes classes are a great way to maybe do something you've not done before, meet new people.
Also, you're almost trapped in the class. So once you go in, even if you go in there with very little motivation, it's a bit awkward to leave, so you're going to have to get a workout in. So you've done that, but normally once you actually get to the gym, you'll get something done. But my point would be relying on motivation is not a great tactic. So you might look at, I don't know, us personal trainers and think they're always motivated, but it's not the case.
It's never the case.
And sometimes I am like dragging myself to the gym and I don't really want to go, or I don't want to do a session. But once you get there, you warm up, you'll get something done. And I think knowing that not every session is going to be your best session, and sometimes it's what I term like getting money in the bank. Like, you know, there's another session banked. It wasn't the best workout I've ever had, but it was a workout and it did it, and it's going to help me improve long term. But yeah, I think motivation is something that people often wait for, and it's never going to come if you wait for it. Get out and do stuff and put effort in, and the motivation will start coming from the results that you get.
Yeah, start being more proactive, 100%.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, I think we've got one more question.
Guys, a lot of information. What else we got? What else we got? What we've not talked about. It's different.
What is the easiest way to work out?
Steps.
Why didn't you explain about PureGym Insiders and motivation?
PureGym Insiders.
I didn't even know what a PureGym Insider was. Apparently I'm not a PureGym Insider, so you better talk about that.
Yes. So, PureGym Insiders, you've got six insiders.
New project.
And it's a completely brand new project that PureGym are doing. We're showing you the insides of PureGym, and it's as simple as that. So what we'll do, if you follow us on here, we'll put out who our insiders are, so you can speak to them anytime you like, ask them any questions that you like. Different insiders will have different niches of what we're going to be talking about, or areas that we can help you that little bit more on. And then we work with amazing people, amazing influencers that again help us along the journey, as well as we all, you know, everything's like a learning curve. I'll always learn more stuff, but we're here to basically just to help you and show you the insides of PureGym.
Love it. Right, so we're gonna wrap up here, but we have one last winner. Are you ready to announce? You say it.
No, I've got it.
Not quite sure.
So the last winner from today is Sophie Coates. So thank you very much, Sophie, for sharing our post. We will be contacting you right now. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Should we end these?
Yeah.
Yeah. So again, thank you very much who's watched us, who's commented on, who's shared our post.
40,000 people have watched.
40,000
Wow.
people. So
And to
Thank
think
you.
I'm still ginger. Oh god.
it's not ginger.
Well, it's not a great box
Is it
day,
lighting?
and if you're going to take one thing from this live, it should be do not box dye your hair. And thank you. And